Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of IGN House Call. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Rianti Hidayat. Please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone. Selamat sore. My name is Rianti Hidayat, a concept artist and also character designer from Indonesia. Currently works as a chief designer in Japan game industry. I previously worked at Ubisoft Singapore and CyberConnect 2. So I involved in several video game titles, but the most notable one being Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild as a production artist. You also can find my latest work as a main character designer and also assistant art director for a Nintendo Switch game called Ninjala. I also an official illustrator for a Pokemon card games. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
That's so cool. All right, let's start off with that. How did you find yourself being a concept artist in Japan?
So a little bit go far when I was still students.
Mhm.
I always like, we are fan of Japanese games and everything. So I always like to imagining ideas and draw since I was a kid. Like create fake game screenshot, create a fake UI or game characters, and then I go to my final project at university. It's actually creating a concept of video game called Etam Tava. It based on Indonesian Dayak cultures. So at that time, like I didn't know what is concept art as a profession, but it kind of trained me to imagine big picture and how to think out of the box. Then after that, well, I apply. I always want to go overseas because at that time, Indonesian game industry is not there yet. So
Mm.
apply. I get into Ubisoft Singapore. They need artists for their Kinect game. I passed their test. Then I joined as a junior artist. Then after that, like I always like Japanese games, so I kind of want to work in Japan one day. So I get around to finding a way how to get there, and I get scholarship for a master degree first, and it's called Mombuka Gakusho, I think, a full scholarship to study first. Then finally, after 2 years and a half, then I get into a Japan game industry. Then yeah, like when I get into the industry, of course, they kind of ask me to do different things like UI. Can you do UI? Can you 3D modeler? But at the end of the day, my supervisor always told me that your strength is in the concept department. I also enjoy it, so yeah, sure. Then ever since, my work is always concept artist.
Nice. So, did you learn Japanese before the scholarship or during?
So the scholarship is kind of 2 year and a half. The first half a year, they kind of give me like half a year a Japanese lesson. But of course, before I came to Japan, at least I can like do simple greetings and everything. So I kind of learn a bit. But of course, it's like when it's elementary school Japanese, then you need to learn a master degree class. So it's really hard.
Nice. All right, so let's go to your most famous work. How was it like working with Nintendo? And like, what were the lessons you learned from that experience?
Okay, so first I would like to clarify that I didn't communicate directly with Nintendo
Mhm.
because they have tons of artists to manage. I get someone who in between and like give me feedback back and forth. For me, there's two lessons learned. First, concept is important. First, being concept artist, you need to draw good. Like you need to know the basic of proportion, anatomy, like and everything. But since your concept artist is kind of concept in the front of the artist itself, right? So the drawing has to be interesting, improve the original request if possible. Aside from that, it has to be believable but still relevant with the game requirements. Yeah, you can be creative, but it's a game. There's a limit of how crazy you can how crazy the idea can create, right? For example, like I every time I involve in project, they're always ordered to create a house, and every time it will be different. Of course, who's living in this house, what they eat, what is their culture, are they advanced enough to create, for example, a stitch or integrate craft, what is export, it all contribute to the design. So that's first the concept. The second one will be art fundamental is important,
Mm.
like those you learn in art school or art books, silhouette, rhythm, all those. I actually don't like those when I was studying school because it sounds so boring, like contrast, like color theory, gestalt theory. So what is? I just want to draw characters. But after I get into the industry, like it's super important, and it kind of remind me again when I work on it. It's like, oh, okay, that now I know the intention of my teacher and professor.
Wow, okay, so you had to apply all the basics just to, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, the basic, yeah, silhouette, those stuff.
Hmm. Was there a part of the design that you're extremely proud of? Like maybe like something that you put your personal touch to, or?
There is one, but
Hmm.
unfortunately I cannot say which it is. But yeah, there's a lot of parts of my work, and there's the one in the art book as well. I think they
Oh,
released the art books, right? Like the full art books. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right, we'll start a scavenger hunt for that. All right. So for this next game that you worked on, the first time I saw it was at Tokyo Game Show 2018. It was like there was a
Mhm.
giant booth for it. So
Mhm.
it's Ninjala. It's a great
Oh
fun.
yeah. Oh, you
free-to-play
came.
game.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So okay, so that game's a little more different. It's a little more modern, a little more street, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yes.
So
A
what
bit
were some
more.
of the design philosophies you employed for the characters and the world of Ninjala?
Mhm. So there are three main points. First is a comical appeal. Like we're trying to exaggerated the expression, because
Mm.
every time you get hit, it's like the eyes bulging and just like making a stupid face, right?
Mhm.
So that's the key. We don't want it to be like we want it to be a little bit wacky, on the wacky side. Mhm. Second point, if colorful but avoid garish. To use too many colors, it's kind of tricky. So we use limited color per cactus.
Hmm.
Three main colors plus extra. So if you see, all character has a kind of like color theme to it. Like the main characters is yellow and pink. Yeah, this. So yeah, that's about the color. And the third one is exaggerated silhouette. Like all the characters has a crazy hair. So
Yeah.
like the shoes and like the gloves and the what is it? Usually, if you design a color, is from about this thick, right? I make it
Mhm.
like this thick, so it can be seen from afar. There's a reason to it, because it's action game.
Hmm.
You have to see the movement very really fast. So you want to make sure that it stand out. The movement is easy to recognize from afar. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's the 3 point.
Nice. Was it weird when they pitched to you a game about ninjas with bubblegum and?
Well, of course, first time people like, okay, but like once you kind of do it and do it and do it, kind of makes sense, kind of wacky, but yeah, it works. And also,
Right.
it's kind of stand out, right, when they announce in E3, because you have those big bubble gum just
Hmm.
in the screen. So yeah, it definitely have the first impression like impact with the huge bubble gum.
What about like when you have crossovers in the game, like with
Mhm.
Demon Slayer and stuff? Did you
Yeah.
get to work on that as well?
Oh yeah. Because I sometimes check the quality control of the model itself. Well, the team need to balance between our aesthetical concept and also the client as in the collaboration, right? Like
Hmm.
those, for example, Demon Slayer or different IPs also have their own rules, right? And
Yeah.
we also have their own rules. So it's kind of balancing it. For example, like make sure the button amount is exactly the same, or like kind of like a bargaining. Okay, the hair
Hmm.
is okay this type, but for example, the amount of what is it, the stitches, it has to be like that, or the tattoo cannot be like changed at all. Yeah, those. It's kind of interesting. It's like playing a game.
All right. So I think a lot of people are interested in working in Japan. I think it's a
Mhm,
dream for a lot of us here in Southeast Asia.
mhm.
So from your work, you've worked in some of Japan's biggest games to one Hazme who worked on Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a space for more Southeast Asian creators in Japan moving forward?
Oh, definitely. Southeast Asia has a lot of talented people, and also it has a rich culture. Like from Indonesia, and of course from different countries has their own unique culture on it. So it influenced their artists in one way or another. I guess it becomes strength, and it gives you different perspective that you can offer to Japan video game development. Well, for example, like you mentioned Has, and I think he introduced the team to how to make teh tarik, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Teh
I heard.
tarik
Yeah,
roti.
yeah. Like in my case, like for example, like Japan has their own culture, like obi and hakama, right? Those
Mm.
and I'm sure they have rules that kind of in their mind, because it's their own culture. They learn it since they were a kid, how to wear it properly, how to tie it properly. This is the proper way. But sometimes when okay, Randy tried to design it, since I don't know or I don't really dive into the proper rule, I can actually play more with it. And
Oh,
sometimes in Ninjala, for example, the art director is actually kind of excited because usually what I throw to them is different from the usual ones. And so, yeah, as an outsider, we actually have a different strength. And I'm sure if there's a lot of Southeast Asia artists want to work in Japan, I'm sure it will be a good thing for them too.
nice.
Mhm.
Okay, so for you, which
Mhm.
artist kind of had the biggest influence on your work?
To be honest, there's so many because I have several styles. I get bored if I draw just one style. But the one that I pop up in my mind right now is J.C. Leyendecker. He's a famous American illustrator. I think before Norman Rockwell, he's the illustrator for Saturday Evening Post.
Mm.
The second one would be I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. I think he's French or something. Aurelien Pradal.
Okay,
Yeah, I think so. And also Kevin Dart.
nice.
Mhm.
What is your dream franchise to work on?
Dream franchise. So many. I I really like to work on all classic RPG that I grow up with, from
Mhm.
Suikoden, Xenogears, Chrono Cross, Grandia, Wild Arms. I guess I have this bucket list of the work that I want to get involved.
Wow. Are you getting closer to that bucket list, you think?
It's kind of tough because it's the IP is tied to a company, right?
Mm,
Like
yeah.
if I want to work on, for example, like Suikoden, I have only Konami have it, so I have to work there. But I think the closest one will be work with people who created my favorite game before. So
Mm,
so I've working even in Ninjala. There's a lot of friends on my team that actually work on my favorite game. So it's
mm.
kind of just a little bit closer. Still not there yet.
Very cool. So, would you say those are your favorite video games growing up, or do you have more?
That's the one that I mentioned is still my favorite ever. Like Suikoden is my favorite like ever in the top, because that's the reason I actually want to become a video game artist. It's really memorable for me. Aside from that, I also like Phoenix Wright, the lawyer, ace attorney series.
All right. Yeah. So do you miss Indonesia a lot? Like, when was the last time you went back? And
Oh, like 3 years ago because of the COVID.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I really miss the food. Like I really like Asian and Southeast Asia food, really.
Mm,
And I also work in Singapore before, right? So
yeah.
I really enjoy Singapore food, and like what chicken rice, and also I eat nasi lemak when I have a lunch. So I really miss that. Yeah,
Is there a place for you to go in like Japan to kind of feel
there
like at
is.
home? Yeah.
Yeah, not many.
Mm-hmm.
The one that really close to your taste bud is really not many.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there not many, but yeah, sometimes if I miss, I go there.
Yeah. What do you think about the Indonesian gaming scene right now? Things are very exciting. I mean,
Mhm.
throughout Southeast Asia, things are booming right now.
Yeah, I really impressed, to be honest. Like before I came to Japan, like 10 or 15 years ago, like you don't even imagine that you can work or make money, or yeah, like I'm game artist and work in Indonesia, right? But and I kind of wish they were there when I was younger. Because
Mm.
at that time, like I don't know who to ask. Like, what is the profession in game actually? What is model 3D artist? What is UI? Like I don't even know what it is. And now with the internet, uh, I think there's more and more Southeast Asia artists who like going overseas, right? Like 3D
Yeah.
modelers and so many. If I see credits, like even like Hollywood movies or even like game blockbuster games, there's kind of name that's kind of Southeast Asia. It's like wow.
Is there like a specific kind of game that you're hoping that people back home would make?
Well, if Indonesian want to make like a huge game or everything, I would like to involve actually. Yeah.
Would it be like a turn-based RPG, you think, or?
Well, for me, the genre is not that important. I've been working for in online game like mobile game and now action games, RPGs. As long as the world building is deep enough, for me it's a fun project.
All right, cool. That's good to know. What are your future plans, I guess? Like, would you ever work on like an indie Southeast Asian game? Like, are you allowed to, or?
Well, I hope, one day I really want to make like not exactly my own, but more like with the team of Indonesian artists, and make something that's really unique. Because that's the only thing that, like, your own culture is like the selling points. That's the thing that you can sell to the world.
Yeah.
If you adapt like other, because of course other culture is their own strength, but you don't know them. Like you cannot, what is it? You not grow up with it. So there's like what is it? The feels that you can convey in your works. One day I want to do that. I guess like collecting the team is kind of difficult because the skills. There's a lot of people with the good skills, but not as many as you can kind of compile it together and make like AAA game, for example. It's not there yet, I guess. Need more people go overseas, get their like knowledge, get their experience, then go back.
All right, overseas education still very
Still,
important.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So finally, I guess what is your advice for aspiring artists across Southeast Asia, the ones that are looking to make it just like you?
I think there's two advice. First, I know it sounds like a broken tape, but fundamentals are important. I learned it in art school, but now so many learning materials. Like you can go YouTube, online class. You can learn those basic like everywhere now. Even being professional for more than 10 years now, I still learn fundamentals. Like the tools always change, like Unity, Unreal, like all the program, Photoshop, CSP. There's so many program, but it always changes and it will change. But the fundamental doesn't change. So if you want to adapt, that is important. The second one, be better at communication. Like half of the reason I would work, aside from that technical stuff I mentioned, like drawing and everything, this another half is making friends with a lot of people and just like be a fun person to work with. Because like game is teamwork, right? And the industry is really small. Words really spread if you do good or bad work. So, yeah.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much, Rianti, for this very enlightening talk. Is there any final message that you kind of want to just spread to the world, maybe to people back home, or?
No, let's make Southeast Asia game more known to the world.
All right. Thank you so much for this, and
Yes.
I guess we'll catch you next time.
Sure.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.